Hello everyone, welcome to another day of Java programming session. So in this class, we are going to cover the data types and variables of Java programming. So what are the data types that we use in general and what are the derived data types we have in Java? Then how to use the variables. Okay. So basically this concept is for every programming language, we have a set of data types that we use. Here also we have all the data types that we used in C language. But apart from that, we have some more different data types like a Boolean and string data types that we have in Java, specific Java. Okay. So today we are going to cover data types in Java, then how to declare the variables in Java. Then again, we can see the data types, size of the data types and ranges of the data types. Okay. And then we will try to perform typecasting. Typecasting is a concept where data type of one variable can be changed into data type of another variable. So that can be done with the help of this typecasting. So that we're going to cover today. And then we try to discuss about the scope of the variables and the identifiers. Okay, scope of the variables. This is also the concept which is very familiar to us, which is already there in C language. So that we are going to cover now. And we try to discuss about literal constants. Okay. So literal constants is something related to your variables and data types. Okay. So that is about the literal constants. So these are the topics that we are going to cover today. So let's begin the session by defining the data types. So here you can see the definition. The Java language program deals with following entities: primitive data types, which are data, classes and objects interface and their references, arrays and methods. So here the word called primitive. Primitive means the basic data types that we are using in programming. The basic data types are nothing but int, character, string, float, double. All these things are the basic data types. Okay. Whereas classes, arrays, interfaces, all these are all the derived data types, which are derived from the basic data types. Okay. So we have to know about what are the primitive and what are the derived data types. So to understand this, let me show you a small tutorial representation. Right, see here. Data types in Java, they are divided into two types, primitive and non-primitive. So non-primitive comes like classes, interface, and arrays. Non-primitive, which are also called as derived data types. Derived means already existing నుంచి derive చేసింది. So those are called as the derived data types. So here we have classes, interfaces, and arrays. Whereas primitive data types, there are again two things, numeric and non-numeric. Again, numeric lo రెండు types ఉన్నాయి, integer and floating point. So when you see that integer type of data types, we have byte, short, int, long. All these are all integer data types. Okay, basically, we know in C language that it is only int. So short also there, but we most often we didn't use that short. So we have basic thing is int. So, but here we have a new data type called as a byte. Okay. So byte is of which is of 8 bits. The size of the byte is 8 bits. So byte, short, int, and long. Okay. So when your integer value is small enough, we can use short. When you want a bigger integer data type, then we can go for long. Okay, so that's why there are 4 different types: byte, short, int, and long. Coming to floating point, there are 2 types of floating point variables. One is float, and next one is current. So if you feel that the floating point number is long enough, then you can go for double. Okay, so these are the integer and floating point data types. Whereas coming to the non-numeric data types, that means not integer values and floating points, we can have character and boolean. Okay, character is a data type which can store characters, and whereas boolean is a data type which can store only 2 values, either true or false. So these are the non-numeric data types that we have. Okay, so we can say that primitive data types are nothing but byte, short, int, long, float, and double. So these 6 data types are called as character and boolean. So these 8 data types are called as the primitive data types. Okay, so hope you understood this. Only these 8 data types are called as the primitive data types. Whereas the non-primitive data types, we have classes, interfaces, and arrays, which are derived from these primitive data types. Okay. So that's what he has explained in the previous slide. This primitive data types and their types are defined independent of the classes and variables. They are not defined from the basic data types. Okay, so arrays and methods derive their types from the first 3 entities. Okay, so these are the primitive data types are called as the basic data types, whereas the non-primitive data types are called as the classes, methods, and their dependent types. Right. Next. So I hope you understood this pictorial representation, this flowchart. Sorry, this diagram. Okay. So if anyone asks you what are the primitive data types in Java, we can say that 8: byte, short, int, long, float, double, character, and boolean. Okay, these are all the 8 data types which are primitive data types. Whereas non-primitive, we have classes, interfaces, and arrays. Here we can, that's whatever the points I have told you, they have been given in this slide. Java defines 8 primitive data types such as byte, short, int, long, character, float, boolean, and double. These can be put into 4 groups. What are those groups? Are integers, floating points, characters, boolean. Okay, so that's what we have shown here. Integer, it covers 4 data types: byte, short, int, and long. Floating point, it covers 2: character and double. Sorry, float and double. Whereas non-numeric, we have character data type and boolean data type. Okay, these are divided into 2 categories. So as you can see, integers there are 4 types: byte, short, int, and long, which are whole value signed numbers. Example: 100, 101, 1000, 25, 48. All these are nothing but the whole values. There is no fractional point included in that. Okay, so those are called integers. Next, floating point numbers. These are float and double, which represents numbers with fractional precision. That means points are included, like 40.9, 100.25. Okay, so these points, whenever a point is included in the number, fractional point is included, or we can call it as a fractional precision. Those are called as the floating point numbers. So based on the sizes, we can go for either float or we can go for double. Okay, next, characters. So this included only representing character. Okay, so it is a symbol in a character set, like letters, numbers. Anything which is enclosed between single quotation is a character in Java. Right? Anything which is enclosed between the single quotation, it is called as a character. whether it may be a number or character. Okay, but if it is included in between the single quotation, it is called as a character. Right. Hope you understood this. Boolean. Boolean means it takes only two values, either true or false. So when you declare a variable called variable of type Boolean, Boolean P, so the T represents either true or false. Okay. No other value should be assigned to that. Only either true or false values. Okay, so that is what we call it as a Boolean. Okay, next one is variable declaration. How can we declare a variable? So what is the definition of a variable is? A variable is the basic unit of storage in a Java program. A variable is defined by the combination of an identifier, a type, and optional initializer. Okay. And in addition, all the variables have a scope which defines their visibility and lifetime. So that we can discuss later. What is the scope of the variable and their visibility and lifetime, all these things. So what is a variable? Variable is the basic unit of storage. Okay. So in general, the variable can be called as the name of a memory location. It is a named memory location where we can store some value. Okay. So how can we declare a variable in Java is like we declare the normal other values. So first of all, we need to mention the type. What is the data type of that variable? Then given the space and then name of the variable. Name should be any valid identifier. Okay. Name of the variable should be any valid identifier. And is equal to, if you want to initialize some value to that, you can do that. Otherwise, we can initialize that later in the program. Okay. So type identifier. So that's what we are shown here. Type identifier is equal to the value that might be given here, or later in the program we can initialize the value. So that is called as a declaring a variable. So this is a very basic things. All we already know, because we have already learned about C and C++. So not an issue with this declaring a variable. Okay. So here are some examples they have given for declaring a variable. Int a comma b comma c. There are three variables which declare with the type int. Then again here variable declaration and initialization also done. Int d is equal to 3. That means I am initializing a value 3 for d. Similarly, declaring variable e, and f I am giving the value as 5. Okay. Next, byte z is equal to 22. When we use byte is if you feel that your integer value is small enough to store a value, then we can go for byte. Okay. Then double pi is equal to, the variable name is pi here. It is of type double. Then its value is 3.14159. So something value. Then again character x is equal to, then I am defining it as a single quotations. So whatever that enclosed between the single quotation, it is called as a character. So these are all the different data types that are available. Okay, and here are some of the examples. You can check it out. Next. So in detail, again, we'll try to learn about what are the sizes and ranges of the data types that we have learned earlier. So Java defines 4 integer data types, which is a byte, short, int, and long. All of these are signed positive and negative values. So the Java does not support unsigned positive unsigned values. Only positive integers can be accepted. So many other computer languages support both signed and unsigned integers, but here Java doesn't support unsigned integers. Okay. So the width and range of these integer types are very widely. So as you can see in a table, so byte is of 8 bits. That means byte data type which holds the size of 1 byte. 1 byte, which is the range is minus 128 to 127. Okay, either positive or negative value. Then short. So short occupies 2 bytes, 16 bits, which is 2 bytes. And the range of the short is minus 32,768 to 32,000. Positive value 32,767. Next, integer. Integer, it occupies 4 bytes. 4 8 32 bits. Okay. Then we have see the range here. Okay, you can observe the range there. It's somewhat very big number. So that range of number can be stored in that integer. And again, okay, so you can see the range of integer, so which is a very big number. Then again, if you feel that the integer of which is 32 bits, that means 4 bytes, which is not enough to store your value, then you go for long, which carries 8 bytes. Okay, 8 bytes, 8 into 8 to 64 bits, right? So this this diagram shows you, this table will shows you that what is the size of that variable, that data type, and its range. Okay, so you can see the long, which is of very big number. Okay, not even we can mention in the crores or something. It is way beyond that. Okay, so that is the range of that particular value. Next, so here we have given again the brief description regarding the byte, which is a 8-bit representation, which ranges from minus 128 to 127. Okay, we can simply define like this: byte B, comma C. B and C are the variables, which is of type byte. Similarly, short, which is of a 16-bit type, it ranges from minus 32,768 to positive value 32,768. So here, one thing you just want, I just want to remind you that Java accepts either positive value or negative value. Okay, but not the unsigned numbers. Unsigned means if you don't mention the sign. Sir, how can we define the sign? The first bit represents sign. If the first bit is 1, then there is a positive value. If the first bit is 0, then there is a negative value. Okay. So Java represents either positive or negative values, but not with the unsigned integers. So some of the languages, they have preferred the unsigned language, unsigned integers also. Okay. So next thing is integer, which is of 32-bit. That means 4 bytes. I have a range here. Okay. So the reason that is when byte and short values are used in expression, they are promoted to integer when the expression is evaluated. Okay. This point I will discuss you with the typecasting mechanism. There we can discuss. Then long is a signed 64-bit type, and it is useful for those occasions where integer type is not large enough. That's what I told you. When you feel that integer is not enough to store your value, then obviously you can go for the long integer. Okay. Next, floating point values. Floating point values, as you can see that if a number contains a point, that means precision, floating point representation can be used. There are 2 types of floating point representations. One is float, which is of 32 bits, that means 4 bytes. If you feel that 32 bits is not enough, then you can go for double, which is of 64 bytes. So 64 bits, which is of 8 bytes. Okay, you can see the range here, approximate range. Okay, so which is a very big number. You can store a huge number. Right. So float and double. So here we have given some points regarding the float and double. So see here, the type float specifies a single precision value that uses 32 bit of storage. And the variables of type float are useful when you need a fractional component but doesn't require a large degree of precision. Okay, that means after dot, after point, if you have a very big number, then you go for double. After point, if you have a smaller number, suppose like if it is your number is 100.23679. If you have a number like this, 100.23679. Okay, it's reasonable that you can go for float value. But if you have a number which is of very big, that means after dot, you have a very huge number. At that time, you can use double. Okay, so double precision as denoted by double keyword uses 64 bits. When you need to maintain accuracy over many iterative calculations and manipulating large value numbers, double is the best choice. So what he is trying to tell you here is after point, if you have a huge number, when you will get these huge numbers, if you are calculating something or scientific calculations or something like that, you will get the huge numbers. Okay, so at that time you can use the double. Okay. Next. Okay, characters. See, in general, Java has a type called character, which can store a character value. But in C and C++, the size of the character is 8 bits. But whereas in Java, it is somewhat different. It requires 16 bits. So that's what he tried to explain in this slide. So in Java, data type used to store character is char. However, C and C++ programmers, character in Java is not same as a character in C and C++. In C and C++, it is of 8 bits. But whereas in Java, it is 16 bits. That means 2 bytes. Whereas in other languages, it is only 1 byte. So this is not the case in Java. Instead, Java uses Unicode to represent characters. So Java represents a Unicode. That means some standard code is there to represent the character. So that's why we are going for the higher size for the character. Okay. So which is of 16 bytes. You need to remember this. In Java, character is 16 bits. That means 2 bytes, not 1 byte. Next. Okay. Boolean. You can go with the Boolean. You can understand here. Boolean is a primitive data which can accept only 2 logical values, either true or false. Okay. So sometimes in a program, we require a true or false mechanism. Okay. Whether you need to represent a true or false. So at that time, you need to use this Boolean data type. Okay, so that's it about the data types that we have. So I'll just summarize the data types, what we have learned. See, basically we have, we can go with this diagram, able to understand. Yes. So data types in Java is categorized into 2 types, primitive and non-primitive. Whereas we refer only the primitive data types. Okay, so primitive is consisting of integer types, floating types, character, and Boolean. So integers of 4 types: byte, short, int, long. So byte occupies 1 byte storage, short occupies 2 bytes, int occupies 4 bytes, long occupies 8 bytes. Similarly, float, which is of 4 bytes, then double 8 bytes. Character here in Java is somewhat different. That's what I have discussed earlier. It is of 2 bytes. Whereas Boolean, it will take only 2 values, either true or false. Other than these primitive data types, we have classes, interfaces, and arrays, which we discuss later. Now, typecasting. This is a concept. Typecasting. What is a typecasting? Typecasting is a mechanism which converts the value of one data type into a value of another data type. If you have 2 types are compatible, then Java will perform automatical conversion. ఓకే, కంపాటబుల్ ఉంటేనేమో ఆటోమేటిక్గా కన్వర్షన్ జరుగుతుంది. కంపాటబుల్ లేకపోతే కనుక యూ నీడ్ టు ఫోర్స్ఫుల్లీ కన్వర్ట్ దట్ type into another data type. Okay. So basically type casting in the sense we are modifying the data type of a value. Okay. So this can be done in Java in two ways. Automatic conversion is there and explicit conversion is there. Automatic conversion, nobody should tell to the compiler, it will understand and it will automatically convert that value into another data type. Okay. But only if they are compatible. రెండు కంపాటబుల్ అయితేనే అలా జరుగుతుంది. కంపాటబుల్ అంటే ఏంటి సార్? ఐ షో యూ an example. Okay. Now if you want to forcefully convert that value into another data, then we can go for some mechanism which is called as a typecasting mechanism. Okay. Next. Okay, see here, Java's automatic conversion. So automatic conversion ఎప్పుడు జరుగుతుంది అంటే if the two types are compatible. Okay. Now we'll try to learn about first incompatible types. అంటే కంపాటబుల్ ఇన్కంపాటబుల్ అని చెప్పి రెండు ఉంటాయి. అంటే కంపాటబుల్ అంటే ఏంటి? రెండు డేటా టైప్స్ కన్వర్ట్ అయ్యే ఛాన్స్ ఉంటే కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తాము, అంటే ఆటోమేటిక్గా కన్వర్షన్ జరుగుతుంది. లేదనుకోండి, then we can follow this casting with incompatible types. First we try to do this incompatible data types. Okay. See here, what is this casting incompatible types is, although the automatic type conversion are helpful, they will not fulfill all the needs. So for example, if you want to assign an integer value to a byte variable, అంటే మనం ఒక బైట్ వేరియబుల్ తీసుకొని దానికి ఇంటిజర్ వాల్యూ అసైన్ చేయాలనుకుంటే ఇది జరగదు. ఎందుకు అంటే byte is a smaller than the integer. Okay. So here the rule is, one specific rule is, I'll just type you in the notepad here. Say smaller data type is converted automatically into this is called as a automatic smaller data type is converted automatically into a data type. This is called as larger type convert into smaller, then typecasting is required. Okay. So అంటే స్మాలర్ డేటా టైప్ నుండి లార్జర్ డేటా టైప్ కన్వర్ట్ చేయాలనుకుంటే అది ఆటోమేటిక్గా జరుగుతుంది. దాన్ని ఏమంటామంటే మనం ప్రమోషన్ అంటాం. ప్రమోషన్ అంటాం. ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నారు మీరు లార్జర్ టైప్ స్మాలర్ దాంట్లో కన్వర్ట్ చేయాలనుకుంటే టైప్ కాస్టింగ్ అనే మెకానిజం మనకి కావాలన్నమాట. దాన్ని మనం ఏమంటామంటే డిమోషన్ అని చెప్పి అంటాం. ఆల్రెడీ దీస్ థింగ్స్ వీ హ్యావ్ లెర్న్డ్ in C and C++. Okay, so let's see how this can be happening. So we'll try to I'll try to explain you even mechanisms ela jarugutayani chuddam. So that is what I have written there in the notepad. So that is the same thing here. కొంచెం అర్థం అవడం కోసం నేను అలా రాశాను. బట్ చూద్దాం అసలు ఎగ్జాంపుల్ తీసుకొని చూస్తే మనకు అర్థం. See, incompatible types. So the second thing, ఇప్పుడు ఇది చూసారా డిమోషన్ అని చెప్పాను కదా, ఇది ఎలా చేస్తామో మనం చూపిస్తున్నాను ఇక్కడ నుంచి చూడండి. Suppose int a is there, byte b is there. Now you want to convert a అంటే ఏంటి? A is of integer type. You want to convert this integer type into byte. దీన్ని బైట్ లోకి మార్చాలి. అంటే హయ్యర్ డేటా టైప్ ఆబ్వియస్లీ ఇంటిజర్. ఆర్డర్ వచ్చేసి ముందు వెరీ స్మాల్ డేటా టైప్ ఏదంటే బైట్, తర్వాత ఇంటిజర్, తర్వాత షార్ట్, తర్వాత ఇంటిజర్, తర్వాత లాంగ్, దెన్ అగైన్ ఫ్లోట్, డబుల్. ఓకే, ఇవన్నీ చిన్న చిన్నవి అనమాట. సో కాబట్టి ఇంటిజర్ అనేది పెద్దది, బైట్ అనేది చిన్నది. పెద్దదాన్ని నువ్వు చిన్నదాంట్లో కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తున్నావు అంటే డిమోషన్ చేస్తున్నావు. చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి? ఏ అనేది ఇంటిజర్ అనమాట. దీన్ని నువ్వు బైట్లోకి మార్చాలంటే దీని ముందు బ్రాకెట్స్ లో బైట్ అని చెప్పి రాయాలి. సో యూ నీడ్ టు రైట్ దిస్ బైట్ ఇన్ ది బ్రాకెట్స్. ఓకే, దెన్ ఆటోమేటికల్లీ యువర్ ఇంటిజర్ ఏ విల్ బి కన్వర్టెడ్ ఆటోమేటికల్లీ ఇంటూ ద బైట్. ఓకే, సిమిలర్లీ see here, we have the values I is equal to 257, double D is equal to something like 323.14. Okay, when you want to convert integer I into byte b, so దీన్ని బైట్ లోకి కన్వర్ట్ చేయాలనుకుంటే I అని రాసి దాని ముందు బ్రాకెట్ లో బైట్ అని రాయాలి. అప్పుడు I వాల్యూ ఏమవుతుంది? 257 కాస్త బైట్ లోకి కన్వర్ట్ అయిపోతుంది. ఓకేనా? ఇంకొకటి I is equal to D. దీన్ని ఏం చేస్తారు మీరు? D అంటే ఏంటి? ఇది ఈ ఫ్లోటింగ్ పాయింట్ నెంబర్. దీన్ని మీరు ఇంటిజర్ లోకి కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు. ఓకే, దీన్ని ఇంటిజర్ లోకి కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తే టోటల్లీ మీకు ఎంత వస్తుంది? వాల్యూ 323 వస్తుంది. ఓకే, బికాస్ యు ఆర్ ఫోర్స్ఫుల్లీ కన్వర్టింగ్ డబుల్ D విచ్ ఇస్ ఆఫ్ వెరీ బిగ్ వాల్యూ దాట్ ఇంటూ ఇంటిజర్, దాన్ని ఇంటిజర్ లోకి కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు. సో I అనేది ఇంటిజర్ వాల్యూ కదా, కాబట్టి దాని ముందు ఏం రాయాలి? ఇంట్ అని చెప్పి రాయాలి. రాస్తే ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఈ డి అనే వాల్యూ ఇంటిజర్ లో కన్వర్ట్ అయిపోతుంది. సో వాట్ ఇస్ ద ఇంటిజర్ వాల్యూ హియర్? 323. దట్ ఈస్ ఫుల్ఫిల్డ్. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ హియర్ ఈస్ డి. డి ఈస్ ఎ డబుల్. ఓకే, ద డబుల్ ని నువ్వు బైట్ లో కన్వర్ట్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నావు. ఓకే, వెన్ యూ వాంట్ టు కన్వర్ట్ దిస్ ఇంటూ ఎ బైట్, దెన్ ఆబ్వియస్లీ యూ నీడ్ టు రైట్ ఇన్ బ్రాకెట్స్ బైట్ అని చెప్పి రాస్తాం. Okay, so this is called as the demotion. Forcefully you are converting something into other data type. Okay, so మనం ఇక్కడ ఇంటిజర్ ని బైట్ లోకి, డబుల్ ని ఇంటిజర్ లోకి, అలాగే డబుల్ ని బైట్ లోకి కన్వర్ట్ చేయడం ట్రై చేసాము. సో ఇది మనం ఫోర్స్ఫుల్ గా చేస్తున్నాము. అంటే హయ్యర్ డేటా టైప్ ని లోయర్ డేటా టైప్ లోకి ఆటోమేటిక్ మనం కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తున్నాము. సో దిస్ కన్వర్షన్ ఇస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ ఎ టైప్ కాస్టింగ్ అండ్ డిమోషన్. దీన్ని డిమోషన్ అంటారు. బికాస్ as I told you, the larger type is converted into the smaller type. Then casting is required. This is called as a demotion or type casting. Smaller నుంచి మరి larger కి ఆటోమేటిక్ గా ఎలా కన్వర్ట్ అవుతుంది చూపిస్తాను. చూడండి, ఇది ఆటోమేటిక్ టైప్ ప్రమోషన్ అంటారు. దీన్ని ఏంటంటే byte A, B, C. Okay, 3 variables which is of byte type. The values for the bytes are 40, 50 and 100. Okay, so 40, 50, and 100, three different values I have taken, which is of byte. Now, I am writing an expression int d. So my total d is of type integer is equal to a into b slash b. What is a? A is of byte. B is also byte. Byte into byte, byte itself. Okay, రెండు bytes ని into చేస్తే byte వస్తుంది. Again, byte slash c. Okay, so byte slash c. That means I am ఈ రెండింటిని మల్టిప్లై చేసి ఆ వచ్చిన రిజల్ట్ ని I am dividing with c. Again, these are byte. ఇప్పుడు ఈ టోటల్ రిజల్ట్ అంతా బైట్ లో ఉంది. దీన్ని మనం ఇంటిజర్ d is equal to అని చెప్పి ఈక్వల్ చేస్తే ఆటోమేటికల్లీ ద రిజల్ట్ విల్ బి కన్వర్టెడ్ ఇంటూ ఇంటిజర్, బికాస్ డెస్టినేషన్ టైప్ ఏంటి ఇంటిజర్ ఉంది అంటే విచ్ ఈస్ ఎ హయ్యర్ డేటా టైప్. అంటే స్మాలర్ డేటా టైప్ ఆటోమేటిక్ గా హయ్యర్ డేటా టైప్ లోకి కన్వర్ట్ అయిపోతాయి. ఓకే, సో దట్స్ వాట్ ద లాజిక్ హియర్, రైట్? సో సిమిలర్లీ ఇది ఒక చిన్న ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చూడండి. See, here I have taken so many different values. Byte b is equal to 42, character c is equal to a, short s is equal to 1024, int I is equal to 50,000, float f is equal to 5.67f, double d is equal to 0.1234. So different values తీసుకున్నాను. ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఒక ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ రాశాను. The resultant is double. Result దేంట్లోకి స్టోర్ అవ్వాలి? డబుల్ లోకి స్టోర్ అవ్వాలి. ఇప్పుడు ఏం జరుగుతుంది చూద్దాం. F into b. What is f? F is a float. Into b. What is b? Byte. Float into byte. ఒక float ని ఒక byte ని multiply చేస్తే ఈ లిమిట్ లో హయ్యర్ ఏది? Float. So obviously the result will be in a float. Okay. Then I slash c. What is I? Integer. Slash c. C means character. So ఈ రెండిట్లో హయ్యర్ ఏది? Integer. So ఈ రిజల్ట్ ఇంటిజర్ లోకి వచ్చింది. ఇదేమో float లో వచ్చింది, ఇదేమో ఇంటిజర్ లోకి వచ్చింది. Now b into s. What is b? Double. Into s. S is what? Short. So when you multiply double into short, the resultant is double. So this is float, this is integer, this is double. Now it will perform the plus or minus operations in between them. Float ni integer ni plus చేస్తే ఏమొస్తుంది? ఇదేమో ఫ్లోట్ వాల్యూ, ఇదేమో ఇంటిజర్ వాల్యూ. ఈ రెండింటిని మనం ప్లస్ చేస్తే ఆబ్వియస్లీ రెండింటిలో హయ్యర్ ఏది? ఫ్లోట్. సో ఫ్లోట్ వచ్చేసింది. నౌ దట్ ఫ్లోట్ విల్ బి మైనస్ విత్ డబుల్. సో రెండింటిలో హయ్యర్ ఏది? డబుల్. కాబట్టి టోటల్ రిజల్టెంట్ మొత్తం కూడా డబుల్ లోకి వచ్చేస్తుంది. సో దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ వీఆర్ డూయింగ్ విత్ ద ప్రమోషన్. దట్ మీన్స్ ఆటోమేటిక్ ప్రమోషన్ జరుగుతుంది. సో హియర్ నథింగ్, నేను ఇక్కడ ఎక్కడ కూడా ఎనీ డేటా టైప్ ని వేరే దాంట్లో కన్వర్ట్ చేయలేదు. సో ఐ హావ్ నాట్ డన్ ఎనీ కన్వర్షన్ హియర్. ఓకే, ఏది కూడా కన్వర్ట్ చేయలేదు, ఆటోమేటిక్ గానే ప్రమోషన్ జరిగిపోయింది బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద హయ్యర్ డేటా టైప్స్, రైట్? సో దిస్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ టైప్ కాస్టింగ్ అండ్ type casting mechanism. There are two types here. One is a promotion and second one is demotion. Promotion means automatically it is converted into higher data type, whereas demotion that need to be done explicitly by using the specific mechanism, which is of we need to mention the type in front of the variable. Okay, right. Hope you understood this. Next, scope of the variable identifier. See, we've been writing so many different variables in classes, in methods, in main program, right? ఇలా మనం చాలా రాస్తుంటాం. The thing is, whatever the variable we declare, where it has been declared, that is the most important point. మనం ఆ వేరియబుల్ ని ఎక్కడ డిక్లేర్ చేస్తున్నాము అనే దాన్ని బట్టి దాని స్కోప్, లైఫ్ టైం అనేది డిపెండ్ అయ్యి ఉంటుంది. So that is called as the scope and lifetime of the variables. This concept also we have learned in C programming, but anyhow I'll try to just explain you here. So far all the variables used has been declared at the start of the main method. Okay, so Java allows variables to be declared within any block. We can declare a variable in any kind of block. So what is a block? Block is nothing but open braces, closed braces. The open braces second start of the year, తర్వాత క్లోజర్ బేస్ ఎక్కడ దాకా అయితే వస్తాయో వీటి మధ్యలో ఏదైనా వేరియబుల్ డిక్లేర్ చేస్తే మనం దాన్ని స్కోప్ అంటాం. ఓకే, the scope determines what objects are visible to other parts of your program. It also determines the lifetime of those objects. Okay, so scope and lifetime is nothing but the variable in which block you have declared. Okay, ఎక్కడ మనం డిక్లేర్ చేసామనే దాన్ని బట్టి స్కోప్ అండ్ లైఫ్ టైం అనేది డిపెండ్ అయి ఉంటుంది. లెట్స్ సీ విత్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్. See here, I'll just copy this and paste it in a notepad so that you can able to easily understand. I'll just follow the indentation so that if you have a clear vision. Okay. See, here only I'll try to explain because there, when you copy the contents, it is showing somewhat different. See, so I am writing a class called scope, and that I am writing public static void main string oxa. This is the main method. In text and a variable declare చేశాను. Then I am giving a value to the text which is 10. Now I am writing if loop. If అనే ఒక బ్లాక్ రాసాను. If x is equal to 10 అయితే, then in this block I am writing y is equal to 20 into y is equal to 20. So I am declaring a new variable y inside the block, inside the if block. So what is the scope of this y variable? ఈ y variable ఎక్కడి నుంచి ఎక్కడ దాకా ఉంటుంది? ఈ బ్రాకెట్ నుంచి ఈ బ్రాకెట్ వరకు మాత్రమే దీని యొక్క విజిబిలిటీ ఉంటుంది. సో y ఈ బ్రాకెట్స్ నుంచి బయటకు వచ్చిందంటే y ఎవరో ఎవరికి తెలియదు. Okay, nobody knows what is the value of y. Okay, so then what you are doing here is system.out.println, you are printing x and y values. Then x is equal to y into 2. You are multiplying y with 2, then storing it in x. Okay, is it clear? Okay, now after closing this bracket, then I am writing, if you write some y is equal to 100 and రాసారంటే అది ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది, because y is not known here. ఈ బ్రాకెట్ నుంచి ఈ బ్రాకెట్ వరకు మాత్రమే y అంటే ఎవరికో అందరికీ తెలుసు. ఈ లోపల ఉన్న వాళ్ళకి y అంటే ఎవరో తెలుసు. ఈ బ్లాక్ నుంచి బయటకు వచ్చిన తర్వాత what is the value of y? Nobody knows. But when you want to try to assign some value to y, here it will give an error saying that y is not known here. y ఎవరో నాకు తెలియదు, మీరు దానికి వాల్యూ ఎందుకు ఇస్తున్నారు అని చెప్పి అడుగుతుంది. ఓకే, మరి x తెలుసా? x తెలుసు, బికాస్ x అనేది అందరికంటే పైన డిక్లేర్ చేసాం కాబట్టి x వాల్యూ ఆటోమేటిక్ గా మనకి తెలుస్తుంది అన్నమాట. ఓకేనా? సో దిస్ ఈస్ హౌ వీ కెన్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ దిస్, వీ కెన్ అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్ స్కోప్ కాన్సెప్ట్. So for your understanding purpose, I'll try to execute this program so that you can able to understand clearly. I'll try to execute and give the values to them. So I'll give it the name of the program as second. Right. So here I'll try to go to desktop because I stored the program on desktop. Okay. Now I'll try to execute the program Java C scope. I have write their scope. scope.java. So when I click enter, if you have any errors, then it will show your errors. Okay. So my program doesn't have any errors. Then I'll try to execute the program. Java space. Now it will display the result. See here. X and Y values are 10 and 20. X, Y values రెండు కూడా మనం లోపల ప్రింట్ చేసాము. Okay, so we are printing the values of X and Y inside this block. So X value is 10. See what happens is X is equal to 10 kada. So if X is equal to 10 in a condition ikkada check chestundi. True kada? 10 is equal to 10. It is true. Then it comes into the loop. Then initialize Y. Y is 20. Then what is X value? X value ఏమవుతుంది ఇక్కడ? X is equal to Y into 2 అని చెప్పన్నాము. అంటే 20 into 2. X value 40 అవుతుంది. Y value 20. So 40 and 20. So okay. So here printing I have done before this statement. Kabatti X value 10 gaane undipotundi. So X value is 10 and Y value is 20. Okay. After that, if you come out of that loop, X value ni manam multiply chesam kada. Kabatti ikkada if you print outside the loop, then X value is 40 because Y into 20. 20 into 2 at 40. So 40 will be stored in X. So when you print the X value, it is showing the result as 40. Okay. So this is how we can see the scope of the variables. Okay, hope you understood the scope of the variables. So whenever the variable is declared inside any block, the scope of that variable is within inside that block. Okay, ఇది లోపల డిక్లేర్ చేసాం కాబట్టి దీని స్కోప్ ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఇక్కడ దాకా మాత్రమే ఉంటుంది. That is what you need to observe here. Right. Next. Literal constants అని చెప్పే ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ ఉంది. Sin constant is nothing but, or a literal is nothing but the value that we are assigning to the variables. Okay. Value variables ki manam ఏ values assign చేస్తున్నామో వాటిని literals అని అంటారు. Integers are probably the most commonly used type in the typical program. Any whole number is called as an integer. Okay. So we know that any whole number is an integer. But there are two other bases which can be used in the integer literals. Like if you want to represent an octal 8, that means octal number and hexadecimal number. See, there are basically your number will be displayed in a binary format. Okay. But if you want to display that number in a octal format or base 16 format, the base 8, base 16, వీటిని octal numbers, hexadecimal numbers అంటారు. అలాంటి వాటిని రిప్రజెంట్ చేయాలి అంటే then we need to go for some other representations. Or otherwise, if you want to specifically mention it is a binary number, then write here like this. And X is equal to OB. OB means it's a binary number which is of base 10. So what is the binary number here? It is 1010. If you want to represent 1010, which is a binary number, then you need to mention in front of this OB. Okay. Similarly, see here. This is a binary number because we have written OB in front of that. Okay. ఇదేంటిది అండర్స్కోర్ కూడా పెట్టొచ్చు మనం. ఓకే, ఇన్ JDK 7 లేటెస్ట్ వర్షన్స్ ఆఫ్ జావా 7లో అండర్స్కోర్ ని కూడా మనం ఇంటిజర్ లెటర్ లోకి ఇంక్లూడ్ చేయొచ్చు. దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో వ్యాలిడ్, బట్ దిస్ అండర్స్కోర్ ఇస్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ ఆక్టల్ నెంబర్. ఓకే, ఆక్టల్ నెంబర్ రిప్రజెంటేషన్స్ కి మనం దీన్ని వాడతాం. రైట్, ఇలా మనం డిఫరెంట్ రిప్రజెంటేషన్స్ ని వాడుకోవచ్చు. Floating point literals. See, general example of floating point is 2.0, 3.1459, 0.667. All these are all examples. Okay. But if you want to have an exponent, that means when your number is powered by 10, that means it is multiplied by 10 power something, it will give a very big number. So at that time, you can include something like this E, capital E. Okay, capital E and chip include చేయొచ్చు. అలాగే if it is a positive or negative value, then we can represent something like plus and minus like this. Okay, so these are all the scientific notation numbers which are used. In general, in our programming, we use these numbers, right? Next, Boolean literals. Obviously, this Boolean data type, it accepts only two types, either true or false. Okay, so nothing new in that. Then character literals, anything which is enclosed between the single quotation, it is called as a character. Whether it may be a symbol or a number or alphabet or anything. Anything which is enclosed between a single quotation is called as a character. Then string letters which are enclosed between double quotations. So double quotations so మనం ఏది ఇచ్చినా సరే string అవుతుంది. So hello world, two slashed lines or something, whatever. But if anything is enclosed between double quotation, it is a string letter. Okay. One second. Okay, this is the last concept in this session. Symbolic constants. Symbolic constant means a symbolic constant is a variable whose value does not change throughout the program. That means when you return something like value, that should not be changed throughout the program. So that can be done with the keyword called final. So if any variable preceded by the keyword final in front of that, that variable is a constant value whose value will not be changed throughout the program. Okay, that is what the symbolic constant refers. So final and రాసామనుకోండి ఏదైనా వేరియబుల్ ఉన్నప్పుడు దాని వాల్యూ కాన్స్టెంట్ గా ప్రోగ్రామ్ మొత్తం మీద అదే ఉంటుంది. దాని వాల్యూని మనం మాడిఫై చేయలేము. Okay, so you cannot modify the value which is of a final declaration. That means when a variable is declared as a final, it cannot be changed throughout the program. These are called as a symbolic constant. Okay, now, so these are the contents in this session. So I'll just summarize the things whatever we have learned in this session. So we covered data types, sizes of the data types. Then we have covered the type promotion, that means a typecasting mechanism. Okay, and then we have seen the literals, constants, how the literals are represented, everything. Okay, so thank you for this session. The remaining things I'll cover in the next class.